Hi, friends. I'm just sitting here listening to those geese out there. They're just talking about it all. I had a flock of ducks fly over a minute ago. It's neat. The lake's starting to melt out around the edges, so there's plenty of water for them to get in now. They can fish and float around, and they're just really happy out there right now. I got back a few minutes ago from my evening bike ride. It was really nice. Sometimes I like to just ride down to the store down there in Loomis, and I'll stop and look at that little hill over there, and then ride down to the post office and look for a good book or something. Oh, there they are. Look at them. So cool. I think that was for you guys. Wow, they just gave us a flyby. Is that cool or what? Anyway, I go down and I look for a nice book, or at least I just look through the books. I kind of like the energy of it, and then ride on back home and start dinner. What that does, it helps kind of tire out my muscles as well as activates my metabolism for dinner so that I have a good, healthy appetite and my body knows that it can go ahead and burn the fat reserves and stuff, Figured I'd do another... Oh, there's a branch. Another video tonight, just something calm and mellow, and I've got a lot of comments and messages and stuff lately about like people not doing too well. I mean, handling things all right. However, there's a certain level of stress, anxiety, worry, depression. It seems right now, and it's a hard thing to deal with a lot of times, As a few of y'all guys probably know, I've been dealing with my own stuff here recently. You see, there are a couple people in my life that have stuff going on, and I'd like to be able to help them. However, I can't, and that's a really difficult thing to deal with, For me, I use the tools. I sit down and I write my own gratitude lists, and I become very thankful for what I have. And I really try to accept the powerlessness part of it, because in life there are a lot of things that we can't control. They simply have an outcome, and all that I know is that I can control what I do, how I respond, and what my life is like in my 50%, because I fear that life is 100%. 50 of it's me, and I can control 100% of my 50. And the rest of it, as I'm sure y'all guys know, right? Sometimes it's just about accepting it in the end. And so I'm trying to just remain present for those that I care about so that they always know that if they need me, I'm here for them, without letting it really bother me too much. Because when we let things bother us inside like that feeling of powerlessness has an opportunity to bleed over. It can be distracting and difficult to stay in the moment at times, And so that's really what was on my mind tonight, because I like to, as I go through my life, I experience things. I like to deal with them, right, in my own way, and then afterwards, I'll talk to y'all guys about it. One, it helps me. And two, I like to think that maybe someone else there that can relate to the same kind of issue might also get some help from sharing that experience. They're different scenarios. It's kind of the same experience. So I figured I'd talk for a moment. Oh, there go some ducks. Did you see that last one trying to play catch up? That was so neat. Anyway, I figured I'd talk a moment about emotions. When I went to Betty Ford, I had two really good counselors. All the counselors there were really good. Mine were top-notch, and they knew a lot of stuff. One was a lady and one was a gentleman. And the lady dealt with early stuff, problems with childhood. She basically walked me through all my childhood through adolescent issues that impeded my own personal growth, kind of, stunted my ability to mature. Once she was done fixing me up, I went into another group, and this gentleman, he specialized in life stuff, in the tools and in how to deal with the present moment, moving into the next moment, how to do the next right things, basically. And sometimes he would talk to me like I'd get to go in, and once in a while I'd spend an hour with him just on our own, right? And talk to him. And anything that I was interested in or dealing with, he would tell me about to the best of his knowledge, right? And so I was really fascinated with how, like, a lot of people, once they started getting sober, they would start getting in fights, arguments, or fall into bouts of depression, right? I wanted to know why. So one day I asked him, and what he explained to me is that feelings are a lot like drugs. So let's say we do a stimulant, right? That keeps us up, it keeps us going, it gives us energy. We do a depressant, it brings us down, it makes us mellow, it makes us tired, right? Feelings can be a lot the same way, because when we experience something, it releases endorphins and dopamines into our brain. And so some of them, like anxiety or worry, say we're being yelled at or argued at or something like that, that's going to shoot those endorphins through the roof. We're going to get anxious, wiry, etc. If something happens that we don't have much control over, or something that's really sad, we'll dip down into a depression, right? And that too is caused by different releases of endorphins in our brain. So lots of times these people that I would see, like in the cafeteria yelling at each other or something, right? What he explained to me is they didn't know they were doing this, that they were getting high off of their own brain chemicals, basically, because there was nothing else to use. And that can be really dangerous in life, because as it was explained to me, when we feel a certain way, it can cause us to act a certain way. So like, if I'm angry and upset and a situation arises, I'll deal with it in a certain way. If I'm depressed and sad, I might deal with the same situation in a completely different way. And so what I had to do after getting out of Bay Ford, after getting some substantial time under my belt, is realize when I was being triggered by some kind of outside stimulation or circumstance or something, and how that was going to affect my ability to reason through the next thing that I was going to encounter. Because situations, I'm not going to say that they're like a problem that needs to be solved. Lots of times they feel like a puzzle that needs to be solved. And so when we have certain chemicals and dopamines and stuff going into our brain because of a strong emotion, that hinders our ability to use our cognitive reasoning and our problem solving to be able to handle that situation in the best way. So whenever I'm feeling an emotion, be it frustration or be it that slump of sadness, and something arises, I always try and realize that at that moment, I'm under the influence of that feeling, of that situation and that mindset, and then try and step outside of myself and respond to it in a way that I would if I weren't being influenced by that strong emotion. Okay, that's what I have. This video's gotten long-winded. It is something I was thinking about, though, because, like, last night I felt really powerless about things, and I knew that was going on. So I had to sit down, I had to, like, write out gratitude lists, do my thing, let the people that I care about know that I'll always be here for them, and yet find a way to kind of shelve it, Those geese are so neat. I really like it when they have little babies out swimming on the lake and stuff. I might build like a makeshift raft or canoe or something this summer. That might be fun, because I'm going to be getting most of my food out of that lake. Okay, speaking of food, I'm going to go in, cook me up a meal. Hope y'all guys are doing well out there. Never give up, never surrender. As always, God and Jesus bless us all.